So, whoops. Okay, Murchison Minerals is focused in the middle of the Saskatchewan, middle of Canada. So we have, we're looking at VMS deposits. We own the Brabant Mackenzie deposit, which has a resource of 9.7 million tons. The indicated resource, 2 million tons, is grading about 10% zinc equivalent, and the balance inferred is 7.6 million tons at 6.3%. We recently completed a big airborne survey over the property. In fact, we quadrupled the size of the property to 324 square kilometers, identified at least 30 major EM slash high mag targets, which we will be exploring, walking over all of these starting, in fact, next week. Excellent infrastructure. We also have a nickel sulfide project in Quebec. So we own 100% of these assets, no royalties. So the property in Saskatchewan has a strike length of about 38 linear kilometers. There's a town of Brabant Lake, so there's a community. We rent a couple of houses there, so access is very easy. The highway that goes by the property is the road that goes to all the uranium mines in northern Saskatchewan, and there's a major power line that transects the property. So the Brabant Mackenzie deposit has a strike length of 1,000 meters. It's been drilled down dip to basically 1,000 meters. It consists of two layers, upper layers, lower layer. There's about 25 meters of waste in between. Each one averages about 6 meters thick. So per vertical meter, you have about 12 meters wide of mineralization to mine. So this just shows the distribution of the resource, high grade, low grade, and that's a view from the upper zone and from the lower zone. So the airborne survey that was done extends for about 25 linear kilometers. We identified, as I said, about 30 EM targets with a strong mag. It's quite a very prospective piece of ground. When we look at this, we believe that we're on the cusp of outlining basically a VMS camp, a brand new camp. We have strong conductors for at least 25 kilometers. Most of the VMS camps around the world are roughly the same size. So we systematically did modeling on these anomalies. We have modeled about 15 of the 30. It's work in progress. They take a fair amount of time, basically modeling the magnetic signature versus the EM plates. So each one of these has the potential to host an ore body. If you have a strong conductor with a high magnetic signature, it basically has to be created or caused by sulfides. The lower left of the quadrant, you see that circle, that's the Brabant deposit on the airborne survey. We have two conductors parallel to the east. Those have very, very similar signatures to the Brabant deposit itself, the Brabant Mackenzie. So this is the first anomaly to the east. It extends, has a nearly identical to the Brabant Mackenzie deposit. Again, very good correlation between the high mag and the EM conductors. Same thing with the other conductor a bit to the east. So if we go southward from the Brabant Mackenzie deposit, we see the Tom2 anomaly. It's extremely strong, very good correlation with high mag. The conductivity signature is 5,700 Siemens, and the anomaly next to it is about 4,500 Siemens. So this is definitely a drill target. It's again in the same horizon as the Brabant Mackenzie deposit. This is the main lake is another highly anomalous area. It's just to the south of Tom. to see that there's a number of conductors that we will be chasing this summer. A bit to the east, there's the McIvory Channel. There's a big mag signature here. It's about 1,800 meters long. There was some stripping on the shoreline. As you can see, there's a big Gossan zone. It's never been drilled. There are signs of chalcopyrite to them. So again, coming back to the same horizon as the Brabant-Mackenzie deposit, we find the Brabant South target area. Quite a few EM conductors have been identified and been modeled. There's a lot of activity in that area. We will be chasing those by walking over the surface. I have 6 geologists starting next week walking the property. Over the entire area, in fact, there are very few outcrops. The entire area is covered by 1 to 2 feet of soil. So we will be using an instrument called beep mat, which basically it looks like a toboggan. You tow it behind yourself, and as you walk, there's a GPS on it, and it measures anything that's magnetic or an electromagnetic conductor. So this thing starts beeping as soon as it sees metal, and that's going to be a great tool, and it's been successfully used in a number of other discoveries. So I'm going to just go through a number of slides, again, just showing the strong magnetic signature of the distinct bodies with strong EM plates that have been modeled. So again, each one of those could be a sulfide deposit, and the question is, how much of the copper or zinc or gold or silver or lead you'll find with each of them. So with 30 potential targets with one ore body to start, it's a good start for the program. Another way to do exploration is by looking at the geochemistry of the area. The whole area was covered by lake sediment sampling. So essentially, you land on all these lakes. You lower a torpedo, take a mud sample, a sediment sample, assay it for metals, and we have 2 hotspots on the property. At the north end, we have a zinc, cobalt, nickel, silver anomaly between 3 lakes, and a gold anomaly at the south end of the property. Moving eastward in Canada to Quebec, we have the HPM project. It's a type of mineralization that's very similar to Voisey's Bay. It's nickel sulfide project. The best hole the last drilling was done in 2008, and it was a joint venture with 2 companies. We acquired the partner out this past February, and we now own 100% of this project. So this is a 3D modeling. So we have good grades of nickel, copper, and about 0.1% cobalt. Looking at the valuation of Murchison, 44.7 million shares out. Stock's at roughly 8 cents. So for each $1 invested in Murchison, you have about $663 Canadian of metal in the ground. So it's a huge leverage. If we find one more ore body, I mean, it should be explosive. The company trades, or the stock trades, at roughly 1/4 of its peers, and so far as valuation. So we believe there's a whole lot of upside. We're going to create a whole lot of news over the next 3 or 4 months, and so that's the story in a nutshell. Murchison Minerals.